Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Thank you for sitting down with us.
My pleasure.
First, I'd like to talk to all our viewers and see how long have you been a client with us now?
Approximately 2 years.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about how you felt physically and mentally before starting our program.
So I was challenged by several injuries that I tried to work around, work past them, and was never really very successful in being able to address them on my own. And I was frustrated because I always knew how to do exercise, stretching type exercise and things of those natures, as well as weightlifting, but never was able to overcome the areas that I was challenged in, particularly in my shoulder and in my hip. And so I was kind of in I don't want to say an uncomfortable place, but in a confused place because I didn't know how to address those things and I wanted to get physically better.
Okay, good. And what made our services stand out more than others?
Stand out more than others is kind of an understatement because when you take the ability to incorporate a PT directed regimen into also a physical training, the way that my changes began to occur were very quick and very visible. But it worked to me was the fact that I could address the muscle groups and the physical parts of my body to help compensate for and address supporting and working around the injuries that I had, if that makes sense.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your injury and how long it's been going on.
So I hurt my left shoulder quite some time ago. I mean, more than 15, 20 years ago. And it has been steadily declining. So I had been having problems that just continued to get worse. And the only recommendations I ever really got were, well, at some point, you'll have to have surgery, even potentially have a shoulder replacement. My hip, I hurt somewhere in around that same amount of time, but I also was diagnosed with some degenerative arthritis and hip problems that, again, would probably only be able to be addressed by surgery, being a hip replacement. And both of those areas continued to get worse and worse. As I started to incorporate the things that I was coached in at Integrated Fitness, using both the PT and physical training, I was able to address the muscle groups and many of the different parts of my body and strengthen them to help compensate for the areas that were weakened by the injuries that I sustained. And it's been significantly better for my overall physical life. I mean, I can do a lot of things that I was restricted from being able to do because of those injuries. And I can do things now that to me just seem normal. Do I have some pain and things along that line? Sure. But I'm able to work better at strengthening the areas in and around where those injuries were. And as a consequence of that, I have a much fuller, more comfortable lifestyle.
Good. And you had been to physical therapy prior for these injuries.
I had. But physical therapy to me just only targeted the areas that I had the problems with. It never did anything around them or never gave me any instruction on things that would help to compensate for where the areas were weak by strengthening other stuff. And plus, it was limited by what the insurance would cover. So it was a short visit for, maybe 2-3 times a week at 45 minutes. And then I was done and they would give you a list of things to go home and do. And, they helped, but they never took me to an area where I could progressively strengthen and get better.
And can you explain how we treated your injury here?
So I went through some assessments that helped to identify where those specific areas, problem areas were, and then designed a plan of physical training that helped me strengthen all the areas that supported the areas where I had sustained those injuries. And as a result of that, the pain that I have is significantly minimized, as well as the strength around those areas has given me the ability to work around them with significantly less amount of pain.
And what was your experience with this injury in comparison to other injuries you've had in the past?
These injuries were things that I sustained a long time ago, and they just continued to get progressively worse. So I can't say that it was better or worse than any other or different, but they were getting, they were deteriorating. They were getting progressively worse. And I think that the things that we were able to put together with the PT and the physical training together slowed or stopped a lot of the degradation of those injuries in my body and has helped me to strengthen past and through them so I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do before.
And what have you been able to achieve since using this program?
For me, it's all about living a better lifestyle and being more able to go out, do the things that I want to do comfortably and, not making me feel like I got to sit home and just nurse my injuries and, not be able to go out and interact and do the things that I like to do. I like to be out and involved and active in sports and in a lot of other things that were restricted by the types of injuries that I had. And I don't have that problem today.
And lastly, what, if anything, has exceeded your expectations?
So exceeding my expectations is really the main key here because my expectations were just to be able to address those problem areas and hopefully be more comfortable and more able to do the things that I like to do. And it's more than that now. Now it's that I feel much more physically capable and much more physically active. And I've strengthened areas of my body that I think were lacking in attention. And the combined grouping of all those things from both a physiological as well as from the PT side of it has, I mean, it just exceeded my expectations and helped me to feel a lot better.
And are there any closing words, anything that you would want to share with someone who's perhaps thinking about joining our program?
I think that anybody who seriously wants to address the injuries or challenges or physical challenges that they have will benefit by the types of programs that Integrated can help you to tailor to your specific needs. And that don't take my word for it. You got to try it because you'll find that the people here, the professionalism, the attention to detail, the concern for your well-being are things that justify the time and the effort that I've put in. And I think anybody would benefit from that.
Thank you, Ken.
My pleasure.